What's up, spectators? Welcome back to an episode of Chaos Child. Luckily for me, Tank pushed the power button, but it happened to be between the last episode and this episode, and everything seems fine with the last one. So here we are. I got to fast forward through the entire, all the stuff since the last save point, so the really exciting dinner that we had in the last video, I got to relive that, which is fantastic. All right, now we're back to the toilet. Sarika was sitting with her legs crossed on the cold floor, looking up at me. I put my ear up to the door and tried to see if there was anyone outside. Why are we in here?
大丈夫。誰もいない。
じゃあ、もう諦めていこうよ。さすがにお尻が限界。
一石武道家。数年前のニュースだったと思うんだけど、トイレの鍵が壊れて2日間くらい閉じ込められた人がいて、救出された時に閉じ込められてどうでしたかって聞かれて、こう答えたんだ。トイレがあってよかったって。
Alright, that made me laugh a little. Alright,
私たち
alright.
は2人だからトイレできないじゃん。
Damn it, she was right for once. But she was right. I was reaching my mental limits too. It was past 10 now, which meant we'd spent more than 2 hours locked inside the bathroom. We were on the 5th floor of AH Tokyo General Hospital in the women's toilet near the lobby. We'd learned in the club room this morning that the creator of the sumo stickers was here. Sarika and I had come to the hospital right after. Each floor of the hospital had different sections, and each section had its own lobby, so we were able to go around to each floor and gather information by talking to the people there. Well, it was mostly Sarika who did the talking. And then we'd heard that there was someone in a private room in the back of the 5th floor who drew a lot of creepy pictures. I got excited. The person drawing the pictures might know something. But there was a problem. Namely, the ward they were staying in. There were 2 wards on the 5th floor. The first was the gastroenterological ward, straight down the hall from the lobby. But to get to the place where we wanted to go, you had to take a right from the lobby and go to the psych ward. To meet with patients in the psych ward, you needed permission from the patient and the hospital. If you weren't there to meet someone, you wouldn't even be allowed in. While we were sitting in the lobby trying to come up with a plan, visiting hours for the psych ward ended. Then, hours for the gastroenterological ward ended too, and we had no good excuse for being there any longer. Waiting for everyone to go to sleep. Except the night nurses. And that's how we got where we are now. If I hadn't taken Sarika's advice and chosen to hide in the women's restroom, where the stalls were inevitably in use more often, someone would have gotten suspicious of us a long time ago. No, maybe they already were suspicious.
くそ。少しでも情報を得て帰りたかったのに。
Nah, it only would be suspicious if it was an American-style toilet where the gaps are huge and you can see people's feet and then you know exactly who's been in there. Then you can be like, oh, it's those shoes. But I decided to temporarily leave that to him and visit the hospital. I didn't tell Ito where I was going, or why. If I knew I was putting a priority on verifying information on a homepage run by a crazy man, with no sources even given, he'd make fun of me. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. That's why I wanted to find something. My phone suddenly started to vibrate.
クルス。
I frowned when I saw the name. And at a time like this...
タク？
You're not gonna answer it? Sarika seemed to say silently. I decided to ignore the phone call. Well, yeah, you're in the woman's restroom, don't.
仕方ないだろう。きっと出たら面倒なことになる。
Whatever it was, chances are it wasn't something I wanted to hear, and I couldn't exactly hold a conversation right now. Oh god, we're gonna have a positive daydream in a restroom with a girl. Okay. I'm buckled up. Here we go. I didn't know being quiet and doing nothing was so tiring. Sarika had her arms crossed over her knees. She looked upset. Was I imagining it, or had she been really fidgety over the last 10 minutes?
変なの。まさかこの年でタクと一緒に女子トイレの個室に何時間もこもることになるなんて。
そう言わずにもうちょっと付き合ってくれ。
いいけど。でもこれ以上粘っても意味ないと思う。
Sarika sighed a little. I looked away from her. I was starting to fidget a little, maybe because we'd been talking about going to the bathroom.
タク。
ん？
Sarika sighed a little and slowly stood up.
さ、ちょっと相談があるんだけど。
相談？
What was this about? Sarika seemed really uneasy.
さっき遺跡ぶった話あったでしょ？
ああ、うん。
What lecture?
私言ったよね。私たち二人だからトイレできないじゃんって。
言った。それが？
やっぱりなんでもない。
Yes, you have to pee. So some weird thing happens. Sarika's head drooped. For some reason, she looked like she was about to cry. She was clutching the hem of her skirt tightly and shaking.
どうしたんだよ。
なんでもないって。
だってなんか泣きそうな顔してるじゃないか。
Finally, she started to bite her lip as if she was trying to endure something. She really was acting weird. Sarika normally didn't behave this way.
どうしたんだ。言ってくれないとわからない。
Sarika just shook her head from left to right. She wasn't even looking at me anymore. What was going on? I didn't understand it at all. I'd never seen her like this before. Until just a moment ago, we were having a normal conversation. I grabbed her shoulder and peered into her eyes.
言ってくれ。長い付き合いだろ。僕を信用できないのか。
And at last she started to cry. I looked closer and saw that her cheeks were flushed red.
何がダメなんだ。
お願い、タク。
And then her body shook violently, just once. Until a moment ago she seemed to be suffering, but now she looked relieved and relaxed.
何なんだよ。
I suddenly looked down. She was still holding her skirt hem tightly, and there was a puddle at her feet. Oh no. They actually put it in here. Okay, I was expecting like some kind of like, oh no, I need to use the bathroom. But they went and did this. Well done, Japan. Well done, Japan. Having a little pee party, I see. Okay.
見ないで。
Dirt lurk. Begged in a quiet voice. Dirt lurk. I am. Oh, he's on the piss.
なんでお前言わないんだよ。なんでこうなるまで我慢してたんだよ。
I'm not gonna participate by narrating, because then I'm just as culpable.
二人いたらトイレできないじゃん。タクがいるのに。
All right, shut up. Okay. How many minutes in are we? 10 minutes. Okay. Got 20 minutes left before I can step away from this game for a while. 20 more minutes. There we go. If that happened, I wouldn't know how to react. Yeah, sure. But Serica and I were in a situation where that could happen at any minute. Any minute, someone could just piss themselves. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was time to go home after all. As that stupid idea crossed my mind.
ちょっとねえタク、とりあえず今日は諦めて出直そうよ。
Serica stood up and rubbed her butt a little. What does that
お前
mean?
は気にならないのかよ。
What does that mean, rub her butt a little? What? Why would anyone do that? What is the context?
え？
この病院は
This was the hospital we'd snuck into a long time ago looking for an urban legend called Amy. In the end, we had to give up before we could figure it out, but if there was some connection between the sumo stickers and this hospital...
そりゃ気になるよ。調べられるんなら調べたい。でもこうなっちゃったらさ、明日からちゃんと面会時間に通い詰めて入れるチャンスを待った方がよくない？
それはまあ
今だったらこの回で見つかりさえしなければ普通に外に出られるでしょ。
This place had an ER, so it was open at night, and people would be going in and out. As long as we could get to the first floor lobby safely, we'd be able to walk right out. Damn it. Maybe we didn't have a choice.
わかった。とりあえず
My phone vibrated again.
またか。
I thought it was Kurusu calling me again, but it wasn't. I checked once again that there was no one in the restroom and answered the phone.
もしもし。
おい、宮代。お前、今どこにいる？
どうした？
副部長が事件を追うのはやめなさいってキレてるぞ。
Seriously?
今、あなたたちは何してるんだって問い詰められた。てか、怒鳴られた。怖かった。
お前まさか。
全部喋った。そしたら、設置した監視カメラを外しなさい。いや、私が今すぐ外しに行くっつって電話切られた。
お前そこは耐えろよ。
無理言うなよ。思わず副部長に敬語だったぞ俺。
That coward. Well, I knew how he felt.
で、とりあえずお前のことは何か別に気になったことがあったみたいで、尾上と一緒にそれを調べてるみたいですって言っておいたから。何してるか知らねえけど、副部長に殺される前に謝っとけよ。てか、電話に出てやれ。
He hung up before I could say anything. It was clear that he wanted to stay out of this. With nothing else to do, I put away my phone.
のんちゃん元気出たんだ。よかった。
Serica looked happy. She must have overheard the conversation.
いや、よかったじゃないよ。
でものんちゃんらしいよ。
Serica nodded to herself, satisfied. She really did look happy.
お前どっちの味方なんだ？
タクだよ。タクだってのんちゃんが元気ないの嫌でしょ？
そりゃ、いやいい。
タク、行くの？
言っとくけど、諦めたわけじゃないからな。
I just didn't feel like I was going to find out anything more by staying here. I'd just come back tomorrow during visiting hours. And dodge Kurusu, somehow. Ah, no, we'll discover something. There's no way we're just leaving. There was no one around. The nurse at the nurse's station was staring at her PC. If we crouched down, she couldn't see us. I motioned to Serica and we quickly left the bathroom and started for the lobby. We made it across and arrived in front of the elevator. I looked ahead and saw an automatic door with thick frosted glass. The psych ward lay beyond it. Next to it was a control terminal with an intercom. When visiting, you would say your name and have them unlock the door from the inside. During visiting hours, I'd been sitting in the lobby waiting for the automatic door to open. I'd tried to see if there was a way to sneak in alongside another visitor, but had run out of time before I'd gotten the chance.
タク、しょうがないよ。出直そう。
Serica must have noticed me staring at it because she motioned for me to leave. She was right. If we use the elevator, they might notice the sound. We just have to take the stairs.
Huh?
タク？
Serica stopped just before she reached the stairs.
いや、今。
I heard a beeping noise coming from the automatic door. Someone was coming out. I dragged Serica out onto the landing for the stairs. That was weird. I didn't hear any footsteps. I took a look around the corner and saw that the door was open.
なんで？
It was definitely open, and there was no sign that anyone had come out. I could see deeper into the ward now that the frosted glass was out of the way. The hallway was dark, and it was long past lights out. Why had it opened? Was it set to open automatically from the inside, and someone had to walk close enough to trip the sensor? No, because there's no one there, man. It's ghosts. Hospital, Japan, nighttime, ghosts. All goes hand in hand. I nodded back at Serica as she pointed down the stairs. Someone was coming up. What should we do? There wasn't enough time for the elevator to get here. The lobby was out of the question. Should we go upstairs? Or would we be safe if we just walked downstairs and acted like nothing was wrong? You already know what you want to do. The dark hallway seemed to be beckoning to me. There were no guards or nurses around.
タクル、あなたも他の人と違わない。ただの高校生でしょ。
I grabbed Serica's hand and ran straight for the open door.
わかんないけどチャンスだ。行こう。
Serica was behind me, so I couldn't tell if she nodded or not. I ran faster so I wouldn't have to hear my heart pounding, and a moment later, we were inside the psych ward. As I listened to the door shut behind me, I moved up next to the wall and took a look around. It was too dark to see all the way to the end of the hallway, but there didn't seem to be anyone there. The green light of the emergency exit reflected off the floor, bathing us in dim light.
タク、手。
I realized that I was still holding Serica's hand. I quickly let go and she turned her hand towards the wall.
これ。
She was pointing at a simple map of the ward. It showed the nurse's station, the exam rooms, and what were probably the numbers for the patients' rooms.
確か絵描きって奥の個室に入院しているんだよな。
Serica nodded. But the map didn't say if the rooms were singles or not. I looked at the doors in front of me. There were plates with what looked like two patient names. These rooms were doubles, which meant that any room with the same layout was also, probably, a double. I look back at the map. Where were the private rooms?
あった。ここら辺だ。くそ、やっぱり奥の方だな。
あっち？
Serica pointed further down the hall. With Serica behind me, I turned to the side and started to walk as quietly as I could. That weird scent unique to hospitals was stinging my nose. I was used to it, but it was still a little creepy. And it was too quiet. If this was a psych ward, I expected to hear some crazy screaming or something. What's this now, a sealed ward? A hospital ward, usually for mental patients, with a locked entrance and heavily restricted access and visiting rules. In the broader sense, refers to any hospital ward, not just a mental ward, that cannot be accessed without permission from staff.
いくら閉鎖病棟とはいえ、大半は高齢の認知症の人たちだろうし。
You wouldn't expect the patients to be screaming 24 hours a day, especially after lights out. It's true. Screaming is a tough job. But what was with the air in here? Everyone knows it's that crazy ghost must. It be stankin'. It was just another dim hallway. I wasn't going to the scene of a crime this time.
Huh?
And then I realized, come to think of it, when I'd gone inside the Love Hotel, I'd first tried to get past the door, then almost given up. I turned around and saw the empty hallway stretching out before me, past a confused Serica. The automatic door was on the other side of the corner.
あの時も鍵が勝手に。
That's right. The door to the hotel had opened on its own, just like the automatic door here. The police had told me I'd been mistaken, but maybe it was really.
タク、どうしたの？
いや。
I realized it had stopped moving. Crap. Was that a nurse?
こっち。
No, because no one walks this slow. Even if I was loitering, I wouldn't be able to walk with such a slow stride. Think about it. Imagine yourself walking down, down, down. Like what?
ああ、松下さん、点滴逆血してたよ。
え、またですか？外しちゃってました？
それがね。
I could hear what sounded like two nurses in the hallway.
バレちゃった？
いや。
I listened carefully. They seemed to be talking about a patient. Good. They hadn't found us. We would have to stay here until they left.
タク、そういえばさ。
ん？
昔忍び込んだ時って、どこに行ったか覚えてる？
I took my ear off the door.
そりゃ覚えて。いや、具体的にどこか覚えてないな。
I tried to think back to what I'd seen so many times in the dream. It was 8 or 9 years ago now. About that long ago, I was still in elementary school.
でも、この平等じゃなかったとは思う。
I couldn't remember how we got in exactly, but I didn't remember sneaking through the automatic door. An automatic door. And...
あれは、精神科に見られるような治療じゃなかった。
Actually, I don't think you could even call that treatment, whatever it was.
どうした？
I was about to ask before I saw her face and realized what was wrong.
大丈夫か？
大丈夫だよ。
She clearly wasn't okay. Did she remember what happened before? Come to think of it, actually, she tried to act strong and failed last time too.
大したことじゃない。絵描きの情報を確かめて帰る。それだけだろ。
Mr. Tank, I can't see the screen. The nurses must have finished talking because I could hear the footsteps getting further away.
よし。
Sarika slapped her cheeks with her hands to try and snap herself out of it.
行こう。
Butt cheeks.
あ
When we got to the room, the dim light of the emergency exit lamp was shining down.
ここ
I nodded. This was probably the place. It was a private room in the back, and there were no nameplates on the other private rooms we'd passed.
開けるぞ
There was no time to hesitate. We could run into a nurse at any moment. I looked to the left and right and checked that there was no one there before opening the door. It was a dark room with no lights. There was enough light to see my hand, but not my feet. The bed against the wall was empty. The blanket was rolled up. Sarika looked over to see if I saw. Was this not the place?
他の部屋を探してみるか
I went to leave when Sarika grabbed my arm.
なんだよ
あれ
え
Sarika pointed at the back of the wall of the room. Her hand was shaking. It was too dark to see. I softly crept forward to get a better look. I hope they're looking right at me. Oh.
なんだこれ
The whole wall was covered with drawings of the sumo sticker in what looked like red paint.
気持ち悪い
Sarika grabbed onto my arm. The warmth reminded me that I wasn't alone. That made me feel just a little better. If I'd seen this alone, I might have screamed and gone crazy.
この匂いは
I noticed that there was an unpleasant scent coming from the red paint on the wall. I took another step forward. And then I realized. Shh, don't yell. I put my hand in front of my mouth to stifle a scream. And then another hand in front of Sarika's mouth to stop her from screaming. And then another hand on the patient so he wouldn't scream. And then the nurse's mouth so she wouldn't scream. Sarika ripped my hand away from her mouth and clung to me tighter.
これ絵の具じゃない血だ
This strange smell, like rust, was the same thing I'd smelled at the Love Hotel during the revolving dead incident. Why would nurses leave that? Who had drawn these? Who would draw something like this and in blood? I imagined someone locked in a dim room endlessly drawing paintings in blood on a blank wall, and a shiver went down my spine. I got goosebumps all over my body. That's a little cliche, but you know, it's what people do.
やばい
There was something very wrong with this room.
何してるの
I suddenly realized I was holding a smartphone in my quavering hand. Quavering? Quivering. Quavering. It's like wavering and quivering. And without even realizing it, I'd pushed the record button and started filming the drawings on the wall.
違うこんなことしてる場合じゃ
Sarika tried to drag me back. But my body wouldn't move. I knew it was dangerous to stay here, but I couldn't move. Sarika was saying something behind me, but while I could hear the sounds, I couldn't understand what they meant. And then... I heard a sound from somewhere in the dark room. It was the sound of someone scratching something. Not their balls, I hope. And my body froze up even more.
今どこかで音が誰だよ
Someone was in here with us. Someone was in this room. In the darkness. I could hear the sound of something hard being scratched again. But the sound bounced off the walls of the square room and I couldn't tell where it was coming from. I desperately searched around the rooms, eyes cloudy with terror. How long had they been there? A girl was crouching on the floor alone with her back to us. She was right next to the bloody sumos, a hand wrapped around her knees, and she was staring at her feet. She was staring at a drawing of a sumo sticker. It was too dark to tell for sure, but I thought I saw something dripping off her finger. That was blood. She'd cut her finger to draw that. She was drawing those pictures. I couldn't speak. My throat wouldn't work. I had questions to ask. Who are you? Did you draw all the stickers over town? Why are you drawing those? But I just couldn't speak. The strange sight before me filled me with an indescribable terror. I was overcome by the idea that if I talked to her now, if she turned around, she would transform into something else and attack me. I heard my name and turned toward Serika. Her hand was clutching my arm tightly.
どうしたの？急に怖い声出して。
何かって、お前、あれ。
There was no one there. I was standing in the middle of a hospital room, shaking and staring at the drawings of the sumo sticker. My hand had numbly lowered and my smartphone was recording only my crotch.
大丈夫？
Serika looked at me, worried.
あの女の子は。
女の子って何？
今そこにいただろ。
But there was no one in the direction I was pointing. Just eerie pictures in an empty room.
やだ。怖いこと言わないでよ。
じゃあ今のはただの妄想。
Or maybe whoever had drawn the bloody pictures on the wall was already dead. But some trace of their spirit was bound into those paintings and trapped inside the room? No, that was way too paranormal for me. It was impossible. But I couldn't get the image of the crouching girl I thought I had seen out of my mind.
この絵、行こう。ここは多分。
I took Serika's hand and slowly started to walk backward. It felt like if I made a sound, all the eyes of the sumos drawn on the wall would open and stare. We made it back to the door and jumped out into the hallway. Well, obviously the girl is what's-her-face, whatever her name is, and we'll probably confront her about it at some point, but then the main character didn't recognize her, so maybe not just yet. But since we're out of that room and it's been about 34 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. So I hope I didn't creep you guys out too much. Stay tuned for the next episode, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!